the agenda up by any chance?
I have my paper agenda, but I haven't done a Zoom meeting like this before for the board, so I don't have anything but my paper.
Okay. I'm just wondering if you could kind of lead us through the agenda because I don't have it because I'm on my phone, which is where
Oh,
the
sure.
agenda is. Okay.
Sure, no problem. Are
So
we
we're
ready to
not
go?
expecting.
We are
Yeah.
going
So
live.
okay. So you said Chris would not be here, so that would be, and Jenny's not here, right?
Correct.
So then we have everyone.
So we'll
And-
go ahead and start with call to order. Are there any additions, changes to the agenda?
Nope.
Okay. Moving ahead, is there approval of the minutes for June?
I propose we approve the minutes for June.
I so move.
Fantastic.
So we good for that then?
Yep.
Okay, we'll go ahead now and move on to reports. And I don't, excuse me, I don't know if you guys have your reports then or paperwork with you or not. Let me just get caught up here. Normally we introduce any new staff, and we do have a new staff member, Danielle goes by Danny Grandinetti. She's not available tonight, and with it being sort of last minute, we'll get her in hopefully maybe next month or shortly after that. But that's all we have for staff introductions. Budget, if you guys had a chance to take a look at that. We finished up fiscal year 20 and are heading into 21. Do you guys have any questions on that?
I had one question. It looked like there was I think it was around $860 returned for maybe trainings. And I was just wondering where that came from.
Without knowing, I'm going to assume that might have been a couple of things. Either some of the conferences and training that we attend now is going virtual. It might have been, I believe, for Andrew, who is going to Ripple Research Institute and Public Libraries. He was supposed to go this summer. So I'm assuming that amount was that chunk of change.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Sure. So any other questions on the budget? We're real good. This first month here is what we're into, basically July 1st, start of the new fiscal year. So we're in real good shape for that. Does anyone have a Friends report?
I don't know that they've met.
Okay, and they may not have. Yes, they probably haven't because they normally meet at the library, and we aren't taking in-person meetings at this point. So they probably have not met. Thank you, Jessica. The director report. Did you guys get a chance to review that? Okay. Does she go through that? Do you want me to summarize it or just ask if you have questions?
I mean, she usually kind of elaborates on stuff, but
okay, I can
you
do a
don't
brief.
necessarily have to. It's up to you.
Well, I've read through it, so I'll just kind of share a few highlights then. So the financial report for fiscal year 20 that we just finished up, total library services were 96.37%, so just about 4% under budget. So really good about that. And we are at
Uh-oh.
I think she froze.
He did.
fiscal year, so we kind of have an extra month in there of payroll. Our ebooks total budget and half of the audio budget's encumbered with overdrive for ebooks and e-audios. And then the Polaris software annual support's been paid in full. So, kind of paying up front some of those made that just a little bit higher than average, but we'll be fine. For our library operations update, we did hire Danny Grandinetti, and she has gone through the onboarding process, although it was during the pandemic and closed to the public. So once we open to full capacity to the public, she'll go through a little bit more training with that, but she's a similar assimilated very well and has had past library experience. So we're really excited for her to join our team. Janet has shifted roles to the technology services assistant librarian. We did have 2 library assistant positions open. We filled the one with Danny, and the other position we did not fill, and those hours have transitioned to Janet's new role as the technology services assistant librarian. She'll continue to offer IT support to our patrons and serve as the full-time building supervisor later in the evening during the weekdays, and will remain full-time with benefits. But this shift in her position aligns with the hiring of our city IT coordinator. And that position will likely be housed in the library, kind of doing dual support, part-time supporting the library or quarter time. The library functions as needed for IT, and then the other time will be serving the community or the city's departments, supporting their needs. So I believe they're going to look to hire sooner rather than later, but with everything going on, they'll look to that as soon as they can. And I'm not certain if this person will be reporting to the library director or to the city administrator. So those details will be worked out. Update on our reopening, because we last met in June, right? So July and most of August here has seen quite a bit of change for us. We opened July 6th by appointment only, with limited hours, limited capacity, and limited time in the building for those appointments. So the public can come in. We have capped that at 5 per every half hour. We are open to the public from 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. 8:30 to 9 is reserved for those high risk or special needs people, the elderly, people who are more at risk. And then 9 o'clock is open to the general public. Every half hour, we'll take up to 5 people with reservations made ahead of time. The services we're providing include browsing and checkout, kiosk use, notary services, and computer access. It's a walkthrough sort of model, so we've removed the seating and the extra computers and stuff. There's a computer over the meeting room side of the library and a computer over in the teen lounge to serve the youth patrons. So we're still providing many of the same services, but just in a limited capacity. We still encourage curbside or the grab and go concept, with one family member getting materials for all. And the first Saturday in August, we did expand a little bit to start providing Saturday hours from 10 to 1 p.m. So we have that 3-hour time frame for the public. At this time, we do not anticipate expanding those hours at all monitoring with how the COVID-19 is going in the community and that transmission. So I assume for September, we'll pretty much maintain the same level of service and looking to open up more, as soon as we can. For professional activity, Jenny is going to be presenting at the ARSL 2020 conference. That's going virtual, and she'll be part of a panel discussing positive leadership to support staff in delivering services and programs. She's also worked on the composition of a vision document for the Project Better Together initiative in Johnson County, and she is serving a second term as president for the Iowa City UNESCO City of Literature. For staff reports, then, if you've had a chance to look through that, I'll just briefly highlight just a couple of things. I'm working through with a couple of other staffers planning that Stork Storytime Expo. It is going virtual, and we have over 20 vendors, and we will be offering a live panel discussion with a Q&A following on Sunday, August 30th. The public will still be able to register and pick up their swag bags. So even though we're in a pandemic, people are still growing their families, having babies, needing their health questions, social services, literacy questions answered. So we're really excited to still be able to offer this event with a slightly altered format. We've been working through staff scheduling as we've kind of updated our hours and tasks. And Kelly has been working in public services, training the part-time staff for reopening and what that looks like now. We've added a concierge position, just a task, I should say, who greets the patrons when they come in. tells them kind of the rules to mask up, to sanitize, directs them as needed. And then we have a staffer working at the front desk as well, answering the phone calls and fulfilling those library hop services. She's worked with Danny on training, and Amy for our adult services has also been working. Our programmers have really done an awesome job with transitioning to virtual programs and offering a summer reading program kind of last minute on the fly. Amy's been collaborating with City Communications Department to gather information on a local social justice organizations and resources for the public to reference and utilize. So we've really been looking how we're going to keep offering services in the future. Melanie with marketing has played a key role in disseminating all this information out via our social media platforms, and is working with Amy on a library card sign up month in September. So Library World keeps happening, things keep going on. So we try to stay abreast of that. She wanted to share a reminder, if you haven't already signed up and are receiving our monthly newsletter, you can go ahead on our website, northlibertylibrary.org, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and subscribe to that to help keep you updated. Erin
Jenny,
and
sorry, I was going to ask, I saw that and I went to the web page to do that. And when I scrolled all the way to the bottom of the web page, I did not see that where it said, click on to, sign up for the newsletter. So maybe I missed something, but I was just going to say that I did try to do that, and because I don't receive it, but I didn't see that where you could do that.
let me see. I'm just going to North Liberty Library right now to the website and see if I can find it quickly for you. Okay, so all the way down at the bottom, we have a picture gallery with Chase. So there's a couple pictures. Below that is a banner that subscribe to our mailing list to get updates on library happenings. So I'm not sure if you were looking at it through your phone or what medium you were using, but it's at the very bottom, just underneath the picture gallery.
I do
And-
see that now. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just wasn't
Yeah,
in like a
that's
box. I guess I missed that. Thank you.
No problem. That's fine. No problem. And as I mentioned, Erin, Kayla, and Emily have been doing a wonderful job in providing programming for the community. They worked really hard on making over 5,500 activity kits, a total of 25 different crafts for adults, tweens, teens, and kids, and distributed them over the summer lunch programs that were offered at the local schools. And I believe they handed out over 4,500 of them. So the community has really enjoyed doing that. Kayla worked really hard on a diversity audit of our teen collection. And I'm not sure all the details on that. She took a look at preset questions and looked at each item in our teen collection. So that was a huge undertaking. And then we'll be able to use that information and data to go ahead and purchase additional materials to round out our collection to continue providing as diverse material as we can for the community. Let's see, Andrew provided some statistics for you there. Mondays are the busiest for how many checkouts we do, with it kind of tapering off to Tuesday through Thursday. Thursdays are the highest day for shelf browsing, so there's just kind of some quirky stats there, which are fun to see. We have had quite a few people come in and use the kiosk, so that's been wonderful to be able to help them out. Do you have any questions on the staff report? Okay. That leads us to old business. I'm not sure what that is, if anyone has any old business.
Is there anything listed underneath that? I don't believe there was this month.
There's not.
Then we don't have any old business. As far as new business, usually we would use this month to elect a new president, vice president, and secretary. However, with Jenny and Chris missing, should we push it back a month?
I think that sounds right.
Sounds good.
I think we should table it for this month.
Okay. You're okay with that, Scott?
Yes.
Okay. So we can put that on the agenda for next month that I'll work on.
And the only other item under new business was discussion of United for Libraries keynote with Simon Sinek. Laura, I think, was going to mention that. So that was all I had for new business.
Yep. I was wondering, can I share my screen? Is that possible? I don't know. Let me see if I can do that.
If down at the bottom, do you see a green
I
share
do.
screen?
Okay. Are you guys able to see this? Okay.
Yes.
So I really enjoyed listening to this talk, and I was taking notes, and I realized that there was a couple of topics, themes that were brought up that I had to do a little extra research on, because Simon Sinek, he does a talk about the why. And so I had to watch a YouTube video to figure out what the why exactly was. And basically, for some reason, the circles aren't showing, but there are 3 rings. So the inner ring is the why, the middle ring is the how, and then the last ring is the what. And so basically, the way most of society thinks, you think the out in, which is what, how, why, but some of the more innovative organizations and leaders think from the inside out, start with the why and then work their way out. So one of the examples that he gave was Apple company and how they model their philosophy as being different, but yet their product is simple and easy to use, and also, hey, we make a great computer. And so as a result, people understand the philosophy of their items, and as a result, they have done really well and were able to branch out, and now they have, iPods, iPads, they have Apple Watches, whereas other companies that are computers, Dell tried to make an MP3 player, but that didn't really go anywhere. And so something that was a thread throughout the conversation was the why, and how leaders who have this sort of thinking, they think differently, and as a result, the structure of their organization is a little different. So there was 3 pages. I wrote 3 pages of notes. So I will just kind of bring some of the highlights, but some of the things that great leaders who think with the why, they build loyalty and trust through their actions. And by doing this, they create innovation and creativity within the organization. So for example, he mentioned something about calling someone in instead of calling someone out. And that would be, for example, when you call someone out, it's you're having the conversation with someone. We've had this conversation before about your numbers, they're down, why is that? We're going to have to write you up. When you call someone in, it would be more of, hey, I noticed your numbers are down. We talked about this before, is there a problem? What can I do to help you? So having a more sympathetic approach and trying to figure out what the problem is and trying to find a solution instead of just calling someone out on, the fact that their numbers are down and not trying to work with them. So that was, by building trust, you're building a relationship with your employee, and that is going to carry over. The other theme that they had was the infinite versus the finite game. And so the finite game is, for example, like in sports, you have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you always have a clear winner and a loser, and the game ends. Whereas the infinite game is basically life. Rules will change, different players will change, but you'll always change and adapt to grow, and the game never ends. So one example that he gave was between Blockbuster and Netflix, and how Netflix at the beginning had offered a subscription, and then you could get the DVDs in the mail. The CEO of Blockbuster told its board, we need to change. And they said no. They said, we like our 12% revenue that we get from late fees. And as a result, there's no more Blockbuster, and Netflix has basically cornered the market for, online screening right now. So that was just a way that they were showing change. Basically, they were saying you also want to follow a leader. People don't want to be managed. You can manage a process, but you cannot manage people. So that was another theme. And then understanding the game that you're playing is essential for, it allows for massive amounts of innovation. So one of the ways that he was tying this in for Board of Trustees is, how do you talk to your local politicians or at the federal level about what you're doing? And basically, I'm going to try to say this right. Otherwise, please feel free to read all my bullet points. But finding the why. So in this, Skip was talking about why he liked the library and enjoyed going to it when he was a child. He had talked about the fact that he had he had difficulty reading, dyslexia, I'm sorry. And as a result, he really enjoyed going to the library, and how it was a great equalizer and put everyone on equal footing. And so I'm going to have to just read this, otherwise I'm not going to say it right. So the world is changing, and if you were to build a library today, how would we build it? So figuring out what the reason why, and for Skip it was, that is the great equalizer. Everyone who enters the library is on an equal footing. It is the equality for discovery. So access to every book is the great equalizer to discovery. So for example, when you talk to a senator, if you believe that everyone should have a choice, and sometimes money can't buy that choice, if you don't have it, the library creates that place and guarantees access and equality to certain opportunities that society cannot. So if you believe in the equality of opportunity, libraries are the thing. The challenges we have is how to adapt to offer that equality of choice, especially in the modern day and age of all the constraints. And that I need your help with, Senator, because we cannot do it alone. So a great leader is a listener. So hopefully that is what we as Board of Trustees, and also everyone who works in the library, that is hopefully what you are creating. So the last point is also about the world. Oh, geez. I'm going to skip the part about the binary, but I was going to talk about basically great leadership equals great listeners. And so one of the things that they also talk about being a great leader, for example, was Nelson Mandela. And he told a story about when he was a child, his father was a great tribal chief. And when he would attend meetings, there are two things that he always remembered. One was that they always sat in a circle, and two, that his dad always spoke last, meaning that he listened to everyone before giving an opinion. So that was something that helped to create a better environment by listening, and then, creating that trust. So those are my notes. It was a really, really good talk. I recommend, if you have the opportunity to listen to it, I can email this to you. I put at the top of my notes the web link for the Facebook post where I listened to that. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Laura. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts from that? So that's all I have. It has the next meeting date of September 21st at 6:30 p.m. Is there anything else we need to discuss?
I think that's all then.
I'll make a motion then to adjourn the meeting.
I second that.
Then we can adjourn. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Be safe.
Thanks.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
thanks,
Be safe.
Jennifer.
Bye.